Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Division 3 match of Squirtle Squad Squirts versus Banzai Legends. I'm joined with my partner, as always, Mr. J. How are you, sir?
I am doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I am outstanding. A little hot on the mic. Let me turn my little settings down here, and then I'm going to turn you down in Discord. So, what are we seeing right now from the teams? What do you think?
Well, so far we're already seeing us go into the ban phase here for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Zagara is going to be the first ban, a very smart ban, as she's able to give a lot of vision on those turn-ins. Kind of the setup for that classic KT ban, but we'll have to see if that's what they decide to go with Banzai Legends.
Yeah, I agree. Zagara is a smart first band for the first team just to get her out of the way, especially in this particular map where vision is absolute key. And like you said, with that KT, setting up that KT band, I will apologize for us starting a little bit late. This is my first time setting all this nonsense up and getting everything links out right, and the party's all set. So hopefully, as this progresses, it'll get a little bit better. And we do see the KT band, and we'll await the Squirts' first pick.
Yeah, I'm always a big proponent of either going with Zol or Sylvanas. I think that it's really important to get yourself one of those before the ban phase comes out. Zagara's already gone. She's one of the three you could get, but Falstad coming out here for the Squirtle Squirts. Squirtle Squad Squirts.
I'm
I
just
think
calling the
you.
Squirts.
Yeah, Squirt. That Squirtle Squad is tough enough, but being a Pokemon fanatic, I'm familiar with that one at least. But Squirts is going to give me some trouble. And Jaina coming out as a very early ban. That used to be something we saw long ago. Jaina being a very high priority pick, but nowadays it's more Li Ming meta, not so much Jaina meta. She's lost a lot of those things that made her such an awesome hero in survivability uh, and nowadays Li Ming is a little higher prioritized because she can play a little bit more aggressive while not being punished for it as hard. But they're going to go ahead and pick up Jaina anyway, who's got great wave clear, and Johanna, who's always got good, also has really good wave clear here for Banzai.
Absolutely, and that Jaina pick is kind of questionable coming out in the first pick, seeing how she's very limited in her kit as an escape since her ice or her storm talent was taken away for her to blink out of there. But the Joanna pick was a solid pick. We do see a Murden come out for the Squirts along with a Sylvanas, and then Banzai into the second ban phase bans that Uther pick.
Absolutely, and I really respect the Sylvanas pick coming out of Squirts. They understand, I think, how this map works a lot when you can push with the spiders, with Sylvanas shutting down those turrets and those forts, even the keeps later on in the game. It's really powerful. Muradin also with pretty good wave clear, getting that tank before the next ban phase, and they could have gotten a decent tank chokehold, but instead both teams kind of just looking to remove the healer that they don't want, as we also see Squirts banning out Rhaegar here.
Interesting pick. Now they're limited to LT, which I'm assuming one of the teams will definitely pick up, or a Melf, and there's that LT pick, or a Melf and or a Lily kind of pick. Interesting to see what they have here right now for the Banzai leagues. They pick up LT and Nazebu. Great burst damage. Also have a nice solid specialist to respond to that Sylvanas pick, and a nice heal. But I don't see somebody yet that LT would look to stem unless they're going for the evac.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm personally am not a huge fan of the medevac, but on this map, it can be a really good way to retreat out of a big push. Maybe get to one of the opposite side turn-ins real quick to try and sneak a turn-in when you're engaged on the other side of the map. But we'll have to see what they decide to go with. Nazebo, not played a whole lot in competitive play, but can put out a decent amount of poison damage out, and has abilities that just tend to slowly poke over time. Could be good for interrupting turn-ins here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Right, and we see the Squirts picking out Thrall, which would have been made an excellent last pick for the Banzai for that stem, but Squirts taking that away and getting them on his team. Right now, we have a nice solid team forming for the Squirts in Falstead Muradin as a great tank. Sylvanas with that amazing push, especially if you are pushing on that boss top lane with Thrall and now Karazim being wrapping out for being their healer.
Yeah, I really like the draft coming out of Squirts so far. They're going to be able to get a lot of dive, and yeah, Rainer was a pretty obvious last choice there for Banzai. Somebody that's very easily stimmed. He gets a lot of value out of stim pack,
Hmm.
and he's able to knock down at least a few of these frontliner heroes that we're going to see. Thrall, Karazim, who tends to dive in to be able to get more value out of his healing. Overall, though, I gotta say, I really like the Squirts draft here. They're going to be able to be pretty aggressive with getting in on these pushes when they're pushing with the spider. They don't have to worry about the turrets, the towers because of Sylvanas, so they can be a little bit aggressive about going after the squishy characters. And in the team fights, Johanna's really the only zoning tool that they have, so it's going to be a little bit harder for them to defend as they try and dive in after Jaina, really anybody that's not Johanna on their team.
Right, and we're getting the game all set up now. The teams are starting to make their picks into who they're supposed to pick right here. I had to make a bit of a switch there since I don't have lucky to have three screens like you do. Um, so I had to move some things around as we get the game screen ready to go, and we're getting our teams ready to go as we are waiting for them to finish it up. I think. Let me see. Yep, 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 yep. Here we go. Let's see. Hopefully, we'll get in this load screen, and I'll move it back over. So what are you looking to see out of Squirts there? They have a semi kind of dive team look to them with that Falstead and Karazim and Thrall pick. Um, do you see them diving and being aggressive early?
Not early in the game. I think they will make pretty aggressive rotations. They're probably going to leave either Thrall or Sylvanas bot. We'll have to see what they want to do. They have a pretty ideal team, other than maybe with Falstad for doing that 4-man rotation from mid to top. They could go either Sylv or Thrall with that. Both are pretty decent choices. Sylv can wave clear pretty well, and if they decide they want to push one of the lanes, she can always shut down those towers. But Thrall also has a lot of great abilities with Wolf and a lot of damage that he can put out on somebody if somebody overextends. But I imagine that they will get pretty aggressive when they are pushing with spiders.
Hmm.
But and then anytime anybody jumps out, Karazim can dash, Thrall can wolf, Sylv can haunting wave, Falstad can roll, Muradin can dwarf toss. So they all have pretty good engage or disengage mechanics. So that's what I'm going to be looking to see out of them is how well they control the actual engagements and how much they control engaging with the other teams when they decide to, and how effective they are.
Interesting to say. I'm gonna have to give my. We had to wait there a little bit as the teams were wrapping up, and one of the team members had to go AFK just quickly, and they're getting ready to get into the game right now. I'm gonna have to say Squirts has got the better draft. If you notice, Li Ming was completely left out of this particular draft, and the damage really looks like it can be coming from almost all of the heroes, while on the Legends side, it just looks like that Jaina is going to have that burst, and you hope that Raynor can follow up with some serious damage, or if you can get zombies on somebody from Nazeebo. I really think Squirts has a bit of a slight edge when it comes to who drafted better than the other.
Yeah, I would say so too. Um, couple of small weaknesses in I think in uh, Banzai's draft here. I really like Raynor and Morales. That makes a lot of sense. Johanna's really good on this map, but just in general these days, I'm not as big a fan of Jaina personally. I think that she's got to position herself extremely well. The one thing I will say is that it could be that Jaina, Nazeebo, and Morales kind of synergize. Nazeebo can tend to have a pretty good job of zoning people out with zombie wall and all the abilities that he can throw out if people come close. So if Squirtle, if the Squirts don't actually dive together, they could end up in a little bit of trouble due to the fact that Jaina has probably the best burst damage in the game, and they can burst down one target really well.
Hmm.
But I think it's one thing I always look at when I'm looking at draft is which team do I think is easier to play, which team has a bigger margin for error. I would say that Banzai is going to have to play this really, really well based on the comp that they've picked because they have a higher margin for error. It's easier for them to die if they just get caught a little bit out, whereas the Squirtle squad Squirts here are going to have an easier time dishing out what they brought to the party.
Absolutely, and as we get this Division Three matchup up and running here, Banzai Legends looking at 3 and 4 within the division, and let me see if I get this right. Squirtle, Squirts is looking at 2 and 3. Both teams looking to get back to 500 here as we get going on the match and taking a look at our talents. We're still waiting on our choices to be made, but so far it looks like nothing too out of the ordinary from either team. So we'll see. Here we go here.
Are we actually over on the game screen now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I was just checking because I got the stream up on the other stream.
Yeah, I got your 3-minute set for
right.
it. So yeah, it's gonna be
all
that
right.
way.
So today we're on the blue side. We're gonna have Muradin on Howdooney.
Houdini.
Kitsby Canola is gonna be on Sylvanas. Jactor is gonna be on Falstad. Agent 26-210 is gonna be on Thrall. And Sir Sean Sheep is going to be on Kerosene.
And I will forgo taking care of the red team in a moment because it looks like we might have some kind of a team battle already here in the mid lane here with Dwarf Toss coming in from Muradin, and we're just trying to get that XP. It looks like no real hard commit here.
Yeah, getting a little poke out, making sure to clear that lane, and then we're going to start to see the rotation. Jaina staying top. Jaina actually has one of, if not the best wave clears in the game, so it makes a lot of sense to have her just stay top, take out that wave real quick, and then just back off.
Absolutely, and we're looking down here at bottom lane now, seeing how this fight between Sylvanas and Nazeebo, the specialists, are going to go here. I'm going to give my edge to Sylvanas, but Nazeebo has some incredible push as well. But moving back here on the top lane, we're looking at a bit of a push coming from the Squirts against their tower, but just backing off once they hit in cannon range there.
Yeah, and then in the mid lane, Banzai getting a little bit of damage out as they push into that lane with Johanna and Raynor.
Yeah, when you see a bit of Bird of Stun come out, but no follow-up with that. It was just a little bit too far, too close to the cannons, and we are going to see Joanna go down. Just jumped in there and tried to make something happen for her Raynor, and it just couldn't survive all that damage coming from Thrall and Kerosene.
Yeah, she went in there with the Condemn, thinking she could bring in those people and make them easy targets.
Oh, and Jaina goes down as well. Nice little rotation from the Squirts, and Jaina was just caught out.
Seeing some really great rotations out of Squirtle Squad Squirts right here. But right now, all we're seeing out of Banzai is that they're going with this 2-2 split. They're just trying to keep each lane going, which means that when the Squirts actually do abandon a lane, they're going to get a little bit of a push in it. But if that rotation is good and we don't see the members from Banzai Legends actually back out to avoid those ganking flanks, then they're going to have a bad time.
We were actually starting to see the Squirts to do the 4-man rotation between top and mid, and they are coming back into top line to see if they can get Morales possibly out, and then we got a stun off of Morales coming down, hard damage coming down Morales, and Morales is going down right near that cannon range.
And there it is again. We see the hard dive, the hard engage, how all of the members.
And we have another invade here. Look at this. See if we can get Raynor out, even though he's got that heal talent of his, passive. And no, they're not going to just have enough damage to get him. But a nice little aggressive effort on the parts of the Squirtle Squirts.
Yeah, they are definitely rotating with a purpose here. They know the identity of their team is to rotate, stun, and get these ganks. And they are keeping with it.
There's not much happening down in bottom lane now. Both teams seem to have almost the same amount of coins from Sylvanas and Nazeebo, but we are going to take a look at top lane here. And Thrall taking a little bit of damage, is able to get that turn in, but we only have 7 coins turned in on the side of the Squirts.
Yeah, so far they both teams have a pretty even amount of gems, but we'll have to see which one decides to start turning in. Usually it's the team that's doing that 4-man rotation will end up owning the zone of this top turn-in and end up getting free turn-ins, but so far they've seemed to abandon that a little bit as rotating at 4, and they're getting a little bit more standard with just soaking every lane.
We saw there
even XP too.
Oh, that's absolutely right. They're both sitting. The Squirts have a slight advantage of that. We did see a little bit of a gank look from the Squirts trying to run out and get Raynor, but just not enough damage to take him down before he went under the cannons.
A nice grenade in there to get the poke to deny that turn in, and so far that looks like what Banzai is trying to do here. They're just trying to annoy this enough, and Johanna is pushing mid a little bit too.
I like what Joanna's doing. They're not getting involved with that, electing to stay up there and trying to get that all-important gate down. Even though most teams will try to go for those cannons, but just as important, if not more, is definitely that gate going down quickly.
Exactly. It allows them to be able to jump in there if they want to later. They don't really have a comp for that too much, but it's actually something we would love to see out of the Squirtle squad Squirts here, since they do have a very potent dive con.
And we're looking like at bottom lane here that Sylvanas is getting a bit of the lead there with that bottom cannon looking ready to come down. It just needs to be just breathed upon and it would come down. Back here in mid lane, not much going on. We are seeing some slight rotations down to the bottom turn-in, but no real hard engagement, even though Thrall is caught up between Thralls, but Mizibu is not going to follow up on that, probably rightfully so, with sitting with 27 coins and a fourth of health.
And yet again, we're seeing the annoyance factor come out here from Banzai Legends. They have the ability to poke out these turn-ins and delay them for a very long period of time between the Zebo and the silly little spiders, grenade, all these ranged abilities from Jaina, the poke from Raynor, and then the shield from Johanna. They just have so many tools for just so many ranged tools for interrupting those.
Right, and we're, like you're saying, with that annoyance factor, we're still almost 6 minutes into the game. We have yet to see our spiders, and here, just as I said it, Squirts were able to get the very first spiders with that Sylvanas turn-in, and we're going to see what kind of pressure they can apply against Banzai here.
Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of siege damage out so far, which means they're going to have a little bit of a hard time actually pushing through these quickly, because they're going to have to actually push through the walls first no matter where they're going to go. It looks like they're going to opt to do bottom.
Yes, and it does look like the spiders are going to spawn at least halfway through the lane, which is very, very advantageous for the Squirts here. Nobody pushing up in top lane, except maybe Thrall. Looks like he might be going back up here, but like you said, that bottom lane being the focal point of their pressure here for the Squirts.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they decide to dive here. You know, they're not quite 10 yet, so they don't have a huge advantage, but they have this dive comp that's built to be able to get in here, shut down the turret, and go after them. But they're very low here. Jaina getting a tremendous amount of her ass out on the Squirtle squad Squirts.
And we're seeing why the Banzai elected to take her first pick there with that nice blizzard and catching 4 of them in that and losing a lot of health right there.
Absolutely, and I mean, meta is meta, but no accounting for comfort picks, right?
Absolutely. I have no problem with comfort picks. I'm a comfortable kind of guy. Oh, and all that damage coming out in Joanna, and just not enough to take her down. They did get one cannon down in mid lane, and it looks like there is still one spider who got the entire wall down and most of that keep. And let's see if the Squirts are going to try to take this down and give some help to Sylvanas to just take this down quickly, which they're not, which I think is a bit of a miscue there, because they could easily rotate there and taken that thing down, but they were nervous if Legends were going to rotate up with them, and probably was a smarter move, I guess.
I would actually say that that was actually a pretty big misplay. They had 10 there, so with their ults, they should have easily been able to take that and shouldn't have been scared at all. Until Banzai reached 10, if they're smart, they wouldn't have rotated there because they would have gotten just completely wiped out from the ults. But definitely could have gotten a fort there. But now they're going to have to answer to these web weavers that are come out, and that fort will last quite a lot longer.
Right, and we're taking a look at the alt talents right now. No big surprise here. Wailing Air already used, Hyperion already coming out, and Joanna taking that Bless Shield, which we're starting to see right now, and then there's Gus coming from Falsa, which is, again, no surprise.
Yeah, not any real big surprises. Sunder, Divine Palm. Meanwhile, they're going to put a lot of pressure in on this mid fort. But the spider's going to go down fairly quickly, but we'll have to see how long they want to stay with the incredible sustained support here of Morales. Thus far, I would have expected a little bit more diviness trying to go after Morales, but we haven't seen that so far out of the Squirts.
No, we haven't. We did see the stem be used on Raynor, which is probably the only hero that they have on their team that could benefit the most from that, trying to take that tower down, and it just wasn't enough. but they are going to Squirts are going to be able to get that tower down or the spider down, and the spider phase is now over. They got a moderate amount. The Legend got a moderate amount of push out of that, taking down all three, well, all top and mid walls, but not unfortunately the bottom walls.
Yeah, and so thus far, 2 spider phases and no keeps down. A little bit surprising here.
Squirt's trying to squirt in that turn in there, and Legends are going to sniff that out. You just need 5 more, and they have 8 still in the bank. So we'll see if someone's going to be smart enough to rotate down to the bottom to take that bottom turn in to see if they can just squeeze those last few precious gems in.
Yeah, well, right now it's all about Falstad. He's holding their entire bank. Well, pretty much their entire bank after that clear, but Muradin's getting in a lot of trouble up here. And now a return turn-in attempt here by Banzai. We'll have to see whether or not Falstad gets it first. With the harass coming out from Squirtle Squad, it looks like he will secure it first.
There we do. We do see Hyperion be dropped by Raynor, trying to just clear out that turn-in. Probably was a response to trying to get them out before the Spiders' response that their team could get it. But unfortunately for them, Falstad was able to turn it in unopposed. And here we go with the second Spiders for the Squirts.
It looks like they're going to rotate up top. Meanwhile, the Squirts are going for just clearing the other lanes. They might end up giving up a forward over this, but kind of hard to fight against the. Actually, my mistake. The Squirts are going to rotate bottom to support their spider, and is going to end up taking out this bottom fort very easily. But the rotation to mid, they've taken out 2 of these already. Have the Banzai Legends, and we'll have to see if they want to rotate bot or just rotate around to get the spider.
Squirts did a real nice job of. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. By Legends being in top lane, they went all the way down in bottom lane to try to pressure that to make sure that they had the longest time in lane to provide as modest pressure as they could, which is really smart on their end.
And now it looks like they're actually going to rotate top and finish off this this top fort as well. So they're going to end up getting 2 forts out of that, and they should have time to rotate out of here before the rotation from Banzai Legends gets to the top.
Yep, absolutely. So and they're going to Squirts are going to have to play a little bit of goaltending here to ensure that they don't get the Legends don't get their turn in, because they're looking for just 30 more to go. We do have Stem coming out, and it looks like Muradin is going to be able to get away. Sylvana's coming in dangerously too close to melee range, but she's able to get away, and then the Gus comes out. However, Raynor is still pressed up against that wall, so that Gus didn't do anything to him, and still with Stem on, unfortunately, Muradin was able to squeak away from there. And it also looks like the Legends have now been able to turn in, with that engagement, turn in their remaining gems, and they now get their own spiders.
I'm sorry about that. I think I got dropped out of Discord for a minute there.
That happens with me all the time, too.
Yeah, it was gonna be a pretty rough defense there. I think it was pretty smart for them to go after that. Very impressive considering they were down 13 that they were able to secure that turn in and manage to stop Squirtle Squad Squirts from getting that turn in. I was pretty impressed by that.
Yes, it was. And now they're trying to pressure this bottom, or excuse me, mid fort here. And yes, they are going to be able to get that down, even though the spider does go down a little bit before that. However, the bottom lane spider is still a ways away from that tower, and the Squirts were able to take care of that top spider, excuse me.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams actually try and rotate down here to both try and attack and defend this bottom fort. We might finally see a big engagement and see how these teams can do in a team fight here.
Absolutely. We have yet to see a major team engagement from both these teams. A lot of little poking and ganking going around, but hard engagement has not come out yet. And it looks like Falstad is going to be the first casualty for the Squirtle Squirts. I'm sorry, second casualty.
Well, Thrall actually going down there.
I'm sorry, yes, you're right, Thrall.
Yeah, Thrall actually got a little bit out of position there. A tremendous amount of poke coming out from Banzai Legends. And they do end up taking the fort there as the rest of the team is forced to back off without Thrall.
Right, and it looked like Thrall got a little bit body block there on that choke between that cannon and the tower right there. So really was nowhere to go for him since he had a couple of teammates directly behind him. And it looks like they're going to take Legends taking the bottom camp, which is probably a smart play since that is pretty much the only useful camp on the map, considering how far away the other camps have to run. And by the time they get there, anyways, they're usually killed right away. So taking that bottom camp is probably the smartest move to take, and they're going to rotate up to their bruiser camp and get a little bit of pressure on that mid lane.
Yeah, I usually like to think that the camps aren't very important on this map, but really when you don't have enough for a turn-in, all lanes are pretty far, there's nowhere really to get XP and get gems. You get those camps that are right next to you because, no, why not? They're going to continue to push the lane out and force pressure for your opponent to respond to, and just generally do a little extra XP in sight.
You know, I'm getting a little bit of robot talk from you, so it might be my end. So let me actually get out of Discord and come back in to see if it's my mistake, and we'll see if we can fix that. Okay, we see the solid rotation up top, trying to clear up that top lane to save that top cannon there, and looks like the remaining Banzai team is going to try to huddle around that top turn-in to see if they can squeak it in or deny the Squirts their turn-in. And we are seeing Ring come out along with Stem, but once again, that Falstead Gus disrupts a perfectly good engagement.
A huge advantage gained in that engagement by Banzai Legends, but really that's what this comp is built to do for the Squirts. They're built to be able to control engagements, whether they want to be able to dive in really heavily and really powerfully, or they want to be able to just dust it away when they don't think they're doing very well.
That's right. Very advantageous pick to have Falstead. I think he's turning in more and more into a comfort pick for a lot of teams. With that Gust, you don't hardly see his beam being used as much anymore. It's just straight up his Gust, which is a very safe play.
Yeah, he's a very versatile hero that can do a lot. He can be a poke, he can be a poke comp player, he can be a burst damage player, he can be a sustained damage player, and just in general, he can be just annoying to the enemy team with how he can control these engagements every 60 or so seconds.
Right, and we're still seeing a lot of little dancing around with the poke in mid lane from both teams, all 10 players in the same lane here. We do see a Sunder come out to see if that's going to start a team fight, and we are going to get Raynor down with Johanna going down off that Sunder. And Zebo popping his giant there.
A huge move there by Johanna, though, to be able to at least salvage a little bit of this team fight. She got the condemn out before she went down, which enabled Jaina to hit a huge blizzard with a sizable cone of cold as well, and otherwise that engagement could have gotten a lot worse than just Johanna and Raynor dying.
We're seeing them push Squirts pushing boss here with 2 down, but the Legend knows exactly where they are, and let's see how they're going to play this. They're going to let them have it, or are they going to wait until after it goes down to try to contest it? We'll see it coming up right here.
Well, Jaina's trying to decide if she wants to try and make a big play, but I think cooler heads are going to prevail. She's going to end up backing out of here, but they might be in trouble with this dive comp. I don't think they respect how far they can dive in, and sure enough, we see Karazim and Muradin get in there, and they're going to kill off Medic.
And they are, and again, Squirts electing to play it a little bit more safe and backing off and trying to get a turn in, but they probably could have pressured that just a little bit more, but honestly, that play getting those coins turned in for another spider was the better play to make.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with another set of spiders when you have your opponent's only healer down. It's going to give them opportunity to get a tremendous amount of pressure here, and the boss all by himself is going to get a lot of that top lane down, and so the Banzai Legends is going to be forced to push out this top lane and probably this top Web Weaver. Otherwise, the Web Weaver is going to get a lot of work done in the top lane.
The Web Weaver's coming out more than 3/4 of the way down the lane, which is, again, very advantageous for the Squirts. But again, they're not applying the pressure. They're electing to back out and go up to a top lane or into another lane that is not heavily defended by Legend. And Zenizibu getting caught out, and he's going to go down. We do see the Sunder come out to try to secure that kill, but Zenizibu was able to put out his giants. However, didn't really do a whole lot in the grand scheme of that particular engagement.
No, and I'll tell you, a very aggressive rotation, particularly from Falstad with that fly up there. They're not going to get a whole lot of work done with the web weavers. They do get Nazebo down, but we'll have to see how hard they want to push this if the ring comes out, and they're going to end up blowing up Karazim here, but the Divine Palm just in time.
Wow, wow. That gust does come out, but it pins them only against the tower, and they were hoping that they were able to come out of that with some sort of way to capture Karazim, but you're right, the Divine Palm comes out and just was able to save them. And we do see the Hyperion come out to push them out of lane, but I might get Thrall, and they do get Thrall. Thrall does go down.
A ton of damage coming out here from Jaina, able to deal a ton of AoE damage, and Karazim just can't heal that up quick enough for everybody. Karazim, a very AoE-centric healer, he's able to get the low people up in burst damage if he's on the offensive, but when they're just retreating, he's only got one AoE heal that can heal a decent amount of damage from Jaina, but if the whole team is focusing on one person like Thrall, he can't deal with that without Divine Palm up.
Absolutely, and we do see Legend, even though they did lose Nazebo in that engagement, they were able to get another Spiders pushing, and they're going to actually get a pretty nice push out of that in mid lane. However, the top and bottom lane are going to be spawned right near their keeps.
Absolutely, we're going to see we're gonna see a couple of Spiders that are pretty far back here. So instead of going with this mid one, they're actually going to choose to try and get a little bit more value out of this top one by helping it push a little bit. But now we are going to see the team engagement as at least all 5 members are going to end up here in the mid. And we'll have to see if they want to try to go to support either this top or this bottom web weaver. I think it might be smarter for them to rotate top, but at least Nazebo is going to elect to rotate top so far.
Right, it looks like the Legends is electing to stay in mid lane, even though they have bottom pushing. When now they're starting to disperse out, and it looks like most of them are going to be. Yep, the whole team is going to go down to mid lane to see if they can push that Spider as far as they can go up. But however, Squirts is coming down. We're looking for the engagement along with taking down this Spider.
Good solid rotations here. I really would have liked to see Banzai Legends try and pick a fight here, because as soon as Squirtle Squad's first hit 20 here, it's going to be disastrous if a team fight breaks out too early here. But we do see the disengagement as Thrall goes down again real quick, and now all of a sudden, despite the 20 advantage, they're going to get a little bit of push out of this, it looks like.
They are. They're probably going to get both these cannons down, and including the wall, with that Hyperion coming up. But you're right, that Thrall coming down. But again, Falstead using Gus and spoiling a perfectly good engagement for the Legends.
Yeah, they had just hit 20, but Thrall just didn't quite wait long enough to get in on that engagement. It could have been disastrous for Banzai Legends to go in on that right after they hit 20. They had that tiny window where they could have had those Storm Talents and could have had a huge advantage there. But, it's kind of an opportunity missed.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit. I won't lie with that. Teams are going to look in to turn in their gems, but no team has enough currently to get another Spider. However, it looks like they're all grouping up for some sort of poke engagement here in the mid, and just jostling for position. Thrall is now up, coming up. Looks like his Sunder, along with Gust and Divine Palm, are up. However, Sylvanas' ult and Muradin's ult are down for another 20 or so seconds. Looking on across to the Legends side, all of them are up, except for the Hyperion for Raynor. So we'll look for a major engagement coming pretty soon after this mercenary camp is taken by the Legend.
Yeah, and it looks like also the Squirts are going to go down and get this bottom one, or at least they're maybe trying to bait it, trying to figure out where they are. As soon as they see that cast from Banzai on their bruiser camp, they're going to see that they're not there. A couple people guarding, a couple people grabbing. Just generally, both teams playing pretty passive here, trying to get more coins, trying to continue to soak and maybe get another 4% for another level, but not a whole lot of risky play going on here at this point in the match.
No, we're not seeing that right now. And Legend responding to the siege that has been popped bottom lane, and finally we're seeing the Squirts respond to the camp being pushed across mid. And we do see now that boss is up. We'll see what team was going to try to either bait that or try to take that. And it looks like the Legend is rotating into the mid lane with Nazebo going back to take care of the top lane minions that are pushing into the base.
This is a really good opportunity for Squirts to dive in, and it looks like they may elect to do that because they see Nazebo. They can see on the map,
right,
and Nazebo is top. They know this could be a 4-on-5 advantage.
Thrall,
like
yep.
Going around to look for that Sundering.
And he's electing to get back out of that. Probably a smart play. His team didn't really commit to it, and he was a little bit out of position there if that would have gone off right underneath the towers.
Absolutely. He would have been under fire at least for a little while under those towers. But both teams playing very, very passive here, just trying to see if they can catch somebody out, catch the enemy team in a bad position. Both teams trying to soak up enough gems to get a turn in. But we're going to see an engagement in the middle, looks like. Finally, both teams.
Oh, my.
And a ton of damage coming out from Jaina with that ring, the blizzard, and the cone. It's going to immediately delete Karazim, and all of a sudden, the Squirts don't have a healer. They're also going to get For All out of that.
They are, and now they're going to get, not only are they going to get a turn-in, well, they've played it smart. They could have gone up and gotten boss, but it looks like they finally realized that. So I would have liked to have seen them start boss and then immediately get the turn-in, so you had both the spiders spawning with the boss fight going on, so you could actually have both up and running at the same time. But they're going to elect to take boss first. It looks like Joanna's getting a little bit low there with that tornado, and she was able to back out of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Max value play there is to have 4 of your members turn in and then keep 1 ready to turn in as you send the 4 up to start boss. As soon as that boss is started, you can cap the turn in, and you can kind of get both very, very quick in quick succession. Now this boss is going to take a little bit of damage as the web weavers come in, but ultimately still, a pretty heads-up play. Near max value is how I'm going to use the terminology for that.
No, that's very, very, very appropriate there, and very, very near max value. Almost non-existent, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. They are going to get a tremendous amount of pressure out of this, not only from the boss, which is going to occupy Squirts in the top lane, but these spiders coming out mid lane, and they'll be able to get definitely this wall and cannons, but possibly even the keep if they play it right.
Yeah, what I would have loved to see out of Banzai there is a direct rotation to bottom. They knew that the Squirts were going to have to go to the top, clear that wave, so they could have gotten to bottom and had a longer travel time for the Squirts to be able to react. They would have at least gotten a little bit of damage on this keep that's already exposed.
It is, and Thrall is looking for that back behind Sunder that he has been known to do here in this match, and we do see the Hyperion came out with the Giant and the Ring of Frost, along with Sunder coming out as well.
Yeah, the Sunder comes in from over the wall, but Falstad gets caught out, and with that stim, Raynor just tearing apart the team of Squirtle Squad there.
Yep, and all we see now with Squirts going out in a very, very late game, practically near team wipe. Thrall is the only one that's left up with two spiders pushing extremely hard against the core, with the third spider still at the top keep. This possibly could be the G's.
It's absolutely going to be the G's. I think you could be
yep.
to hit the button.
I think it is. There it is. The G's.
A very impressively patient game coming out of Banzai Legends there. They waited to turn, and they turned as a team every time to pop those ultimates and burst down a couple members of the Squirtle Squad before they really had a chance to dive in. I feel like Squirtle Squad Squirts there had a lot of opportunities to jump in there, dive, and maybe try and take advantage, but maybe a little bit tentative for such a possibly aggressive team comp that they had against a team that doesn't react very well to sudden CC and sudden engagement.
No, and we're taking a look at this scoreboard here. We can see how evenly matched the teams basically were. 7 kills for the side of the Squirtle Squirts and 11 kills coming to the side of Legends. However, 4 of those kills just came there at that last engagement there. But I really liked, like you said, the patience coming from Legends. They were actually playing a level or so behind the entire match up until right near that last engagement, where they were able to get the CC chain out along with the cone, and just been able to just delete 4 of those Squirtle Squirts right off the board before the spiders even were able to get into pushing against the core, which is really cool to see from them do.
Yeah, a really great point you made there is that with those 4 kills at the end, that would mean that up to that point, the kill count had been 7-7. Both teams playing very evenly, similar styles where they were both playing a little bit passive, playing more of the map objectives, getting the Merc control when they had a chance to, getting a lot of turn-ins, and just in general, focusing more on siege damage. And basically that match came down to the fact that the Banzai Legends were able to win the last team fight get those 4 or 5 kills and just end up winning the game there.
Yeah, it was a really, really great match to watch. Nazeebu and Sylvanas with over 200,000 siege damage, but Sylvanas coming on top, adding 287,000 to her siege damage. Top damage for the entire game coming from Raynor, team captain Tim Hoggs, and Falstead is the top damage for his team on the side of the Squirtle Squirts. All in all, it was a really good match to watch. I thought that the teams played each other very well, but like you said, came down to how patient they were, and Legends were able to squeeze that one out right there at the end.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed with the patience that came out from Banzai Legends. Whether it was trolling those turn-ins, being able to poke, and just in general stave off the aggressiveness. A lot of teams would collapse under the pressure of both this engagement and Falstad just constantly blowing them away every time they had a good engagement. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to think that you're turning a team fight your direction and all of a sudden Gus is just able to just take you completely out of that mode where you're winning and reset the board. And they just played patiently. They continued to play their game, played to their identity, which was poke until you were able to really turn it up to 11, get the burst out with Jaina, Nazebo, Raynor, Stim, and they were able to just wait until they had an opportunity to end the game, and they took it.
And they did. And you know what? Even though you and I questioned that Jaina first pick, I thought she played it pretty well, getting second place damage on her team. For the side of Legends, we had some really solid Wings of Frost coming out, especially there at the last engagement, basically making that Sunder non-existent for the side of Squirtle Squirt. So she played extremely well. Who would be your MVP if you think you could put one?
I would say that Jaina is a pretty good MVP there. Raynor would give her a run for money, but a lot of that has to do with just the synergy of Morales, Raynor, and Stem. But another big factor there is the other triple combo there between Johanna, Nazebo, and Jaina, where Condemn, the zoning tools from Nazebo, and then Jaina being able to put those abilities in the right place. Jaina put out a lot of the burst damage that was able to win a lot of those team fights on the side of Banzai Legends, including the last one. But Raynor got a lot of the sustained damage out. So it's hard to choose one MVP because they all worked incredibly well as a team. I would say it's probably whoever was the shot caller, who I don't happen to know who that is. So,
right, right.
So congrats to you. You get my award.
There it is.
Whoever shot calling.
All right, here is my selfish graphic that I will put up promoting my channel and things like that. But do stay tuned. We are going to be playing more matches. This week's Chair League matches are done for the week. However, the new schedule comes out. Is it Sunday it comes out, Jay?
Usually it comes out mid-Saturday,
Mid-Saturday.
maybe late Saturday. So.
And be sure to check us out on our channels, respectively, for updates on and future casts that we're going to do. And congratulations again to the Banzai Squad, and we thank everybody for watching us.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, everybody.